Crafty Friends, it's Martha with Bird and Barn Designs. I am here today with you, bringing you my very first video for YouTube of my very first flip-flop journal. This one was a really difficult one for me for some reason. I just took about 3 times to do the construction of the actual flip-flop. I watched a few videos and other crafters and how to do it, and finally it clicked. So this is what I came up with, and I'd love to share it with you. So for the closure, I wanted something that didn't take away too much from the beautiful image on top, so I chose a sheer ribbon. I have this beautiful, beautiful stick pin in there that my dear friend Teresa made me, and that was very special, so I wanted to add that to my book. So then I took the little ends, because this ribbon kind of can get unraveled on the bottom because it's so sheer. So I did a couple organza flowers where I did layers of organza, took a cigarette lighter and burned the edges and then glued the layers together. Put a little tiny flower embellishment in there and a little Swarovski crystal, and that's on both sides. So then we open her up, and for the journal topper, I have this beautiful image. This was from Ruby and Pearl, and it's of a gorgeous vintage lady, and I've got some vintage lace with the pearl trim, little book page around it, and then I made another little organza flower and put some trim, little embossed paper there, and then it opens like that, and we have a little tuck right here, and then it opens again. We have a little postcard in here and a little belly band. Might have to prop that up a little bit so I can have both hands. And then we've got some vintage lace here and here, and a little journaling spot right there. I love that little tuck. I think that's adorable. And then we flip the page. Oops, we flip two. We flip the page and we've got some journaling spots right here. Almost all of the pages in here are Ruby and Pearl digitals. And we've got some journaling cards here. And I put some little tickets that have some little flowers. And there's some journaling spot there. And this was a paper gift bag. And this is some parchment paper that I coffee dyed. And then we've got another little flip here. This one actually is a little tuck. And then we've got another little belly band here that I did a little fussy cut with a little journaling spot on the back. And for this middle signature on the front, I added a couple little pearl embellishments, little dangles. Then we flip it, and I've got a little paper clip, rusted paper clip with the little jewel, and another little journaling card. And then this little tuck flips out for some more journaling. You can tuck a little something under there. You can do a little journaling there. And a little lace on the edge of that parchment paper. And then a tag that I did a little embellishment on there, and it's got a little rusted charm, and then a little journaling spot, and then another adorable little tuck. I think that one is just so sweet with a little bow, and then you can write a little something on the back. And this pretty piece of lace tuck. And then another little belly band on the last page with a round tag that you can do a little journaling on. So that completes the front. And I named her Faith because at first I didn't think I would get it finished. And it took a whole lot of faith for me to figure that I could do this. I had to have a little help from my sweet friend Karen at Crafty Creations. She encouraged me to finish it. And so that is why I named her Faith. So in the front cover here, we have a tuck. And we've got this beautiful sari silk with a rusted pin. And we've got a little vintage letter. For a journaling spot. I love the little bow on the side when it's all put together. It looks really sweet. So that just tucks right in there. The little bow sticks out. And then we flip her open to the first signature. And on this inside page, we have a little journaling spot with some beautiful lace and a pretty flower down here on the bottom. And then a little stenciled book page with some sari silk and a beautiful blue ruby and pearl digital. And on the inside, did a little stitching around the tuck. And I've got another little journaling spot. Opens up, beautiful. And a little library card that you can journal on. And here I just did a pretty little lace card with a little fabric on the end, just for add a little texture. I love how the textile adds texture to the book. And this was a coffee dyed paper that I did. And on the back, I left it blank for a good bit of journaling. And then there's a little journaling card that I did a little stamping on. And then a little vellum page that I put a little embellishment on. And then I love the butterfly girl from Ruby and Pearl. She is so beautiful. On this side, this is a beautiful thing I got in a Happy Mail swap from my friend Karen at Crafty Creations. She made a little tea bag embellished for me, and it has a beautiful little cards inside, a little vintage lady, a little piece of dictionary page with the word angel on it, and then a sweet little blue card that opens up that you can do journaling on. And it's got a sari silk tie on top with a rusted paper clip. I absolutely love this trim of Karen's. I have to find out where she got that. That is my absolute favorite. And then on this side we have another tuck spot. It's an envelope that I sewed in there. And inside we have a picture of a vintage camera on book page. A little postcard with some journaling spot. And a little vintage invoice that you can journal on the back of. I'm an avid journaler and I love to write, and I knew I would be keeping this one since it was my first one, so I left myself a lot of places to write and added places to write. So that's the back of the envelope, and then trimmed with this side with some beautiful little trim. And then this one I did a tip out with a book page and some washi tape. I love how some of the crafters use the washi tape to add pages in, and I haven't really done that before, so I'm just kind of playing around with that. And on this one we've got some little colored trim and a tall journaling card inside and a shorter journaling card inside. And then this was from my sweet Karen at Grace B Creations as well. She made a little fabric and paper flower, and I added a little dangle on it. And then this page has a little paper clip that has a little journaling spot inside. I think that's so sweet. A little secret space you can journal. And then I added frame with a vellum picture in it, and then I put a little tea stain paper on the back for journaling. And then this was just a beautiful little piece of paper that I found that I really loved. Added a little lace and a little bling and made it into a little secret journaling spot. And this side just has some sari silk, and I added the washi tape on here. I thought this was so beautiful, and with that paper clip holds this little journaling card on the other side, so that holds both sides. And then I had the little clear stamp on there as well. And then this applique I absolutely loved. That came from Karen as well. We did just the best Happy Mail swap. And I wanted to add some special things that she sent me into this book since she helped me with it. And into that I added a sweet little journaling card. And then we go to this page, and there's some pretty lace at the bottom, the rest of the Butterfly Girl page. And then I just put a little tiny journaling card since this is a shallow pocket. And then the other piece of vellum. And then the little doily that I added a couple journaling cards to, a little stamp and a little card. And the card on this side. And on this side is a beautiful tag with a little dangle and sari silk. I kind of love the polka dot sari silk. I think that's so cute. And this one I really love too. This is one of my favorite pages. It's got the little paper clip that is a fan made out of a doily. And I did the little up tuck with it, and then I found this beautiful paper that I coffee dyed and distressed, and just folded that up for a little journaling spot and tucked that right on up into the little fan. I just love how that looks with a little bit of rumpling and distressed look. I think these fans are darling, and they have little, I can grab them, they have tiny little things inside too. Little cards you can write little special things on, little stamps. This one says peace. I love that. Peace is one of my favorite things to strive for, especially in this crazy world. So then we turn the page. There's some more of the pretty washi tape and another little little journaling card. And on this side, on the back of the signature, I printed on fabric, perfectly imperfect. That's one of my favorite sayings as well. I always say I'm a work in progress and I'm perfectly imperfect. So it has a couple little beads on the bulb pin, and then down here, a couple little cards for journaling. I love these little cards and little hidden things that you can write on. Just a little thought that you had during the day, or a favorite word. And then this is the back. That was the back of that signature, and then it opens up to the next signature. This is a book page that I decoupaged some napkin on and added a long journaling card. And then just a little sari silk on this page. I thought that was so beautiful with the handwriting. And then just a little bit of an embellishment down here with some vintage lace. And I left this all open for journaling. And this was one of my onion dyed papers. I think that turned out beautifully. And on this side, just a little ribbon on a little paper clip. And little journaling card. It says, somewhere there's a past version of you that is so proud of how far you've come. Boy, is that not the truth. We've all had journeys and come a long way. And a little shiny, I thought that was pretty, little kind of rose gold, coppery looking. And then I put a little coffee dyed paper on there for journaling. And then added a couple pretty little flowers on the bottom for embellishment. And then I sewed in a piece of book page. And then that pretty print, I love that. And on this side we have a tuck that I just kind of collaged a bunch of things together. And then did another one of the beautiful papers. And just coffee dyed it. Just tuck that right on in there. And here's another piece of vellum paper. And then this one flips over this way. A little rusted paper clip comes out. This flips open for journaling spot. And then I tucked a couple pretty little papers in there that I did some stamping on. I love all the layering and tucking and embellishing with a little piece of lace. It just adds a little something. And this lace here I thought was so beautiful. It made a perfect pocket. And there's a pretty little card, a little journaling spot. And we flip over and we've got another pretty card. I did a little brad on this one and a piece of pretty vintage trim. And then this one is really pretty too. I love this paper. I put a little band around it. Cut the edging scalloped to match the design. And then that is an onion dyed as well. So just these little different things add special touches that I think make it so interesting. And then I added some tiny little keys to this one. I thought those were darling. And then I did, a while back, I got some muslin and I did some coffee dyeing and tea dyeing to it, and I made a ruffle and sewed a trim into it. And then this little embossed corner up tuck has a little journaling card with some bling in it. And the other side of that pretty vintage journal paper, and then some more vellum. And then some pink vintage lace. And a little journaling card. Two actually. And we flip. We've got the beautiful sari silk here and a little journaling card. And this little collage piece that I used as a tuck. And then this sweet little bird I thought was adorable. There's 3 little birds, and then on the back is just some journaling space. And the other side of the book page, and then a blank page for journaling. That's the other side of the onion dyed. And then another collage piece that I did that I made into a tuck. Has a little beading on it, little bead dangle. And then just a pretty little tag. And we flip that to the back, and this paper was beautiful, I thought. I just love that. So I left it pretty blank with a little sari silk. And then I collaged a little cupcake liner with a vintage picture, added some little bling and some vintage ribbon and a vintage button. And then this is a tea bag that I used when I tea dyed my papers, and I emptied the tea leaves and opened it up and let it dry and added it as the background. So that brings us to the back of the book, and then we flip, and I left some page for journaling there, and that's another coffee dyed paper, and used some beautiful vintage ribbon on there, or lace on there. And then on this one, another up tuck, and on this embossing, I ran my gold ink pad over it to give it a little golden touch, and then added some gold around the edge of the card. And I absolutely love this ruby and pearl butterfly page, so I kind of left that blank so you can see the beautiful butterflies. And that's more of the coffee dyed muslin. And then we flip over. We've got this sweet little tiny paper clip and a beautiful little card with vintage lace and a little pearl detail. And I wrapped the lace around the back to give it a little visual interest as well. And then these pretty cards with the lace, when they stick out the top, you can see them. I love that. And out the side. And then some more vellum paper. And this page was so pretty too, I didn't want to do a lot too, so I cut some little pieces of lace, and they almost look like a little butterfly to me. And I added a little gem inside in the middle to give it just a little sparkle. And then my coffee dyed paper and coffee dyed book page, I added just a tiny bit of lace too. And then I've got little pretty lace there. And then we come over here, and I have a little fabric tuck on the top and the bottom, and a pretty little journaling card. And another little key dangle, and on this card, I did the texture paste on there, and did a little stitching around it, and I left the threads from the stitching, and I added some little seed beads. And then on the back, it's a nice spot for journaling. And we flip, have the back of that beautiful page and the book page, and more little lace embellishments on a blank page for writing. And some more vellum paper. And this I cut out of a beautiful piece of fabric that had all kinds of the pretty sparkly embellishments. And then this I absolutely love. These are so fun to do. I used a piece of my coffee dyed muslin, and I sewed some lace on there. And this was some cheesecloth that I tea dyed with some avocado and beet juice. I kind of mixed it together because my avocado came out more gray than pink. So I added beet juice to that, cut out a little piece from some lace, and then a little bit of bling. And then I sewed some embellishments on there. Another little bling and my bulb pin with a little sparkle on there and some pearls at the bottom. And then I stamped my fabric and added a rusted safety pin. And we flip to a vellum pocket and a beautiful tall tag. This was from my Sweet Karen as well. And I added a little heart on that with a little bulb pin. And then left the back spot blank. This can be used as a little tuck too, if I find something pretty to put in there. And then we flip to our last signature. And this beautiful ruby and pearl digital, I love that, with the vintage lace. And then this is an applique that I had bought a wedding dress when my husband and I were going to get married. And it was a beautiful ball gown with a detachable train. And he happened to mention to me one time that he hated those big poofy dresses. So I panicked and I went and bought a different dress and stuck that one in my closet, and it had been there for about 12 years. So I put it on Poshmark, put it on Marketplace, and tried to do all the things, and just no interest, but it was absolutely gorgeous. So another crafty friend of mine and I were chatting, and she said, cut it up, just cut it up and use it. It's because I had been contemplating it. I see all the beautiful appliques and satin and things, and I thought, well, it's not doing any good and it's not selling, and I tried to donate it, and there was no interest, so it's now in my craft stash. And then this sweet little frame, I just love. It has an excuse me, vellum picture of some roses, and then I added some paper on the back for a little journaling spot and tucked that into the beautiful applique. I think that's so sweet. I love that little spread right there. And then this one, I got a new embossing setup, and I tried embossing some muslin, which is what that is. That little pocket is embossed muslin with some lace behind it. And then I did a little decoupaged napkin, and I added lace inside and stitched around it and added a pretty little card in there for a journaling spot. And just tucked that right in there. And then over here, I tipped in a beautiful page with birds on it. I just love that. And that was playing with my washi tape some more. And then there's a little spot there and here for journaling. Once I thought about it, I thought I should have done it maybe this way. So when you open it up, it had the journaling spot, but when I did that, I didn't like how this looked with this, because it was kind of different blues. So I opted to have the surprise inside with the birds when you open it up. And then just some more beautiful sari silk edging, and then a little printable of some old envelopes that I stitched around, and I fussy cut a little feather that you can write on, and added just a little page and put the little words down there. It says miracles happen, which I truly believe they do. I like adding little hidden notes and messages. I think that's so fun. And then more vellum and more pretty blue. And then just open for journaling. And then I did a little embossed tuck. And this has some little jewels on the tie. And then you open it up on one of the little faux envelopes. See if I can get that back in there without a big fuss. Just tuck that in, and I'll fix that later. And then some beautiful sari silk on the top of that page. Left that one open. I printed on a doily on there. Thought that made a lovely center spread. And then since the doily had the butterflies, I added some little butterfly charms. and that will be a great space for a lot of journaling. And then on this side of the little tuck, I have a little card with a dog because I love dogs. And then this is a tiny little vintage envelope that I tied some silver thread, put a little vintage button on it, and it has a tiny little journaling card on it. Isn't that one sweet? I love that one. I don't know what I like more so far with the journaling since I'm somewhat new to it. Making the books or making the ephemera. It's just all so fun. I love that coffee dyed just blank there. And then some more vellum. And then this is a tag from my sweet friend Teresa. And she sent me some beautiful things in a happy mail, and one of the things was this little feather. She actually sent a few feathers, but this feather has a special meaning to me, and I have a story maybe one day I'll share about that, but I love the feathers, so I added that, and she added some beautiful little embellishments and bling on that with some sari silk, and having that in there reminds me of what a sweet friend I made through this junk journaling adventure. She's just a gem. And held together with the tiny little paper clip. And then here's another little thing that I decoupaged some napkin on. I did a little tuck and stitched around it. And then tucked another little paper inside. A little vintage print. Has a nice bit of journaling spot on there. And we flip, and there's another embossed muslin. And because this page was kind of busy with the print, and I really liked the way the flowers looked over the writing, I left it somewhat plain and just added a little heart journaling card that can be used, and tuck that inside. And then on this back page, there's a vintage lace that can be used as a tuck, and I added a little dangle with a butterfly and just little snippets of all kinds of beautiful lace. I love the lace, I love the textiles in the journal. I just think it adds so much interest to it. I thought it looked beautiful over that lace and just added so much layering to it without taking away from the pretty prints and the pretty vintage lace. And then we are back to the front. So if you look at her from the side, she is a gator mouth. And for some reason, I just love all of that. I ended up with 4 signatures when I intended to only have 3. I don't know how I did that, but now that she's finished, I absolutely love her. So that's my first adventure with the flip-flop journal. I love them. I definitely will be making more. And I love all of the little reminders of my sweet friends that I've made through this journaling adventure. And every time I look at them, I will think of the sweet friends that I've made. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did and you like what you saw, please hit subscribe and follow along with me. I intend this channel to be things that I learn and share and make, and share other creatives and their channels for things that I've learned from them and from people who inspire me. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button, and I hope to see you again. Have a blessed day.